Hey guys, what's going on? It's your girl Ash. Welcome to the Ash X podcast. Guys, today we are so honored to have on an incredible guest. I cannot put this into even words because honestly, I'm kind of shell-shocked that I've been even able to talk to him. DJ Tommy Trash is here with us today, and we are going to talk more about spirituality. We are going to talk more about ayahuasca. If you guys don't know what ayahuasca is a drink where basically it's a tea, and it was created years ago by indigenous tribes. And it essentially allows you to hallucinate in order to enhance your spiritual journey. It's something I've always wanted to try. I haven't gotten a chance to. So to talk to him about it and his firsthand experience is super incredible. And he goes into more in depth about the music industry and how in a lot of times when you create commercialized music, it actually, it becomes all about the money. And he felt that through ayahuasca, he was able to really just change the trajectory of his musical career. It was super neat to talk to him, and I feel like he has such an eclectic personality. So it's just it was really fun. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this and let me know what you think. How has spirituality affected your mental health? I know we haven't really touched upon that at all, but what is your take on that?
Well, so let me rewind a little bit. So, I've always felt like I've always dipped my toes into spirituality, but I think that I was probably more I like to talk about it more than actually doing it. There's a lot of people out there that I think, you know what I mean? And yeah. So I'd be meditating on and off while I was living in LA, probably from about 2015, but not really doing it enough for it to really take full effect.
I hate meditating.
And then of course, just doing stuff on the weekend that would just totally contradict what you would, the meditative lifestyle, so
do you ever feel like getting into meditation is hard? I actually I like the feeling after I meditate, but thinking about meditating and getting into that state, I don't enjoy that. I don't enjoy going from here and then
I totally, and especially if you're not, I find if I'm not meditating frequently, whenever I try and do it, it's I just want to get up. I want to get up, or
something different. Yeah.
So it's definitely one of those things where you've got to treat it like if you're going to the gym or
anything else.
Just if you want to become a good piano player, you got to practice every day.
And 100%.
It's definitely like that. You can't just be I'm going to meditate a couple of times and now.
Yeah.
And I'm a meditation master. It's this shit takes years and years and years to cultivate. So basically for me, in 2017, I was started dipping my toes in more, and then that's when the ayahuasca stuff started going on.
Oh my gosh! Wait, I need to hear about this because I really want to try ayahuasca. And
okay, so this is why. This is why I totally just blew my life up in the best kind of way, right? Because I knew shit wasn't. It just didn't feel right. Even though I was playing gigs, I was earning good money, was living in a beautiful house in LA, and material wise, everything was
materialistic. Yeah.
But I was fucking miserable. Anyway, and so I was trying to meditate, but that wasn't really fucking working because I was just doing so much other stuff to counteract the effects of meditation. And then so I saw this documentary. So I was dating this yoga teacher at the time, and then she's like, you should get you should get Gaia.com, and it's got all these
Oh my God, I love
spiritual.
Gaia. Sorry, love Gaia.
Yeah, same. I still have my subscription to this
I
day.
do too.
So,
I do too.
that's right. She was like, you should check out Gaia.com. It's got all these like cool yoga flows on it and stuff. And I'm like, okay. So I like got into like Gaia, and then I was literally the first thing that comes up on the screen is like for you, and it's like the reality of truth. This documentary, and I'm like, ooh, the reality of truth. I think I was on tour in Japan or something, and so I just had so much downtime in the hotel room. So I'm like, oh, I'll just watch this documentary. So I'm like, watched it, and it turned out it was like a documentary, and I just knew every cell of my body knew I've got to go and do this.
Yeah,
I've got to go and do it. Like I knew. And I hadn't had that feeling about something. I just can't remember the last time I felt like this about something that I just knew. It was like just so, the feeling was so intense.
Like you have to do it. It's so intense.
This is now, so I went and I got back to the States, and I was like, I had a pretty full schedule, but then I had to go to Costa Rica to renew my visa.
Okay.
O1 visa for the States.
Because you're from Australia. Okay, got it.
And it turns out that the place in this documentary was also in Costa Rica.
No way.
Ayahuasca. So, because at that stage I didn't really know much about, I didn't really know like how many places there were to do it. So I knew about this place, which was like definitely like it sounds kind of wanky, but it's more like your 5-star version of going to the jungle.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like nice beds and, like nice food and very comfortable,
like Yeah.
Very comfortable.
What was it called?
And since then, I've done it in Colombia in like, definitely not 5 stars.
But you said you've done it in Colombia before? You've been to Colombia?
Yeah, I did it. I've been to Colombia. We flew into Bogota.
Okay.
And then we drove for like 4 or 5 hours. But we're surrounded by all the vines that they make ayahuasca out of and stuff, which is supposed to be super important when you're doing ayahuasca. You should be surrounded by all the plant. Yeah.
Got it.
So let's rewind to Costa Rica. So I do my interview for the new visa, and then I drive straight up to this place, and I stayed there for a week. And the first 2 nights were just like party nights. Like it was just crazy fun. Like tripping balls.
Oh my God! Wow.
Just fun, and I was just so arrogant, right? I was like, this ayahuasca stuff, this is like a piece of cake.
Yeah.
Like, this is so fun. Everyone else was like spewing up and shitting and screaming.
And you're like, this is great.
And like, and I'm in party mode. I'm just in full party mode. And
it's so funny.
And then the third night, and then from the minute I drank it, straight away, my stomach starts going in waves, like starts convulsing. And then I just was like spewing up all night, and I probably went to the bathroom like fucking 50 times.
Oh my God.
It was intense. Like I was just feeling all the pain, it basically was like showing me all the times that I had hurt someone, like whether I'd said something nasty to someone, or, whether heartbreak from previous relationships that the other person had felt, like all sorts of stuff. Basically a lifetime of pain in this one session. I just felt everything. Like
it was like therapy?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, it was like, I I don't know how to really explain it. I mean, it's like, it was just like showing me, like, and then it was like, and then it made me relive the pain that people had caused me over my lifetime. So it was just this whole sort of reliving and processing of pain.
Were you like crying at any point? Like, would it make you that emotional or no?
I wasn't crying, but I was just feeling physical pain, and I
like
felt a lot of pain.
Yeah.
Like I felt like a lot of pain in my heart, like in my heart center. So, you know, it was just, yeah. So that was like a very, very intense night. And then the fourth night, it basically was like making me relive my whole past and from birth. And I could see myself as a child, and basically showed me a lot of the experiences that happened, which turned me into who I am, and like a lot of like, you know, the times where I'd been let down and how that had sort of created certain, you know, fears and insecurities and, you know, all this kind of stuff. So very, lots of therapy.
Yeah, that's so
but then
cool.
being able to kind of let go of that, you know.
Yeah.
And actually just looking back at those times without an emotional charge. So there's a lot of letting go, a lot of
like releasing,
letting go of even like resentment that I didn't even know I had because it was just so deeply buried, you know, by the layers of time. Like, you know, like we push these things so deep within us.
You don't even realize it.
And we don't even realize it. And you know, which, you know, science is, you know, starting to sort of come to grips with that, you know, emotions can cause physical, bad health, you know, whether it's, you know, whatever diseases or, you know.
100%. Yeah.
Like you know?
It's all connected. It's all connected. Like,
so that was my fourth night doing it. So there's 4 nights in a row. And then, so I was like fucking wrecked after, like on that Friday, I was just like, whoa, done. But then I was like, I'm not finished here. So I called up my management and said, I'm staying another week.
Oh my God. Well, what did they say? What was the response?
Got shows next weekend. I'm like, cancel them. I'm done. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, good for you.
Anyway, the next week was crazy. So basically the next week, 3 nights in a row were just the most intense sessions ever. It was just like, last one night I just spent convulsing the whole night. And then and it was just showing me that I have to give up DJing. And it showed me my life. If I kept DJing, kept going on the way I was going, it showed me the pain, the suffering, the loneliness, just the bitterness that my life would become.
Wow.
And with the going, there's another way. And it's like, it was showing me like beaches and it was like, you've got to move to a beach. You've got to move to a beach.
So is that how you ended up where you are now?
Well, that's not like, that's why Thailand, you know, like it was also because I was like, do I do Bali or do I do Thailand? And in Bali, I just know so many people that are in Bali, and I knew that I would if I went to Bali straight away, I'd just party. So I decided to go somewhere where I didn't know anyone. And so I went to Thailand. I did a bunch of research, and so went to a couple of health retreats.
Ooh.
just to like chill the fuck out. And then I started meeting people in Thailand who were more on that kind of into wellness and spirituality, and so
cool.
Just got really involved, you know, doing that kind of stuff. But so let me rewind though. Before I went to Thailand, I still had probably about 8 or 10 shows left for the year. and they were like the most painful shows of my life. Like I
Really?
literally so much physical pain every show because I knew that I was going against what I was supposed to be doing.
You could feel it.
But like it was just so like it's just really hard to put into words that like yeah, it was like physical pain, it was emotional pain, like painkillers weren't helping.
I've
Like
been in
it
the
was
same boat. Yeah. I mean, not
and
not the
so
same boat, but like
and the minute like my last show was in LA for this Christmas show I did, and after that show it was just like the weight of the world was lifted off my shoulders because I was like
you're
I was just like
done.
I fucking made it.
Yeah.
Made it. And I knew, you know, like I knew that now I could go and do what was right, you know. So hung around LA for a couple of months, just sort of wrapping up business. And then my best friend came over from Australia and we went and did more ayahuasca because I was like, mate, you got to try this shit. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
So he came over. He met
That's so funny.
he met his wife at the ayahuasca retreat.
No way.
Yeah.
It was meant to be.
So he's happy. I fully take credit for this marriage. This is like each I was like, yeah, pay for this. Thank you very much. He had a great time, but also quite tough.
Yeah.
And then in those 4 sessions, it was like it just basically gave me a list of things that I needed to do, like a proper list, like I could see the list. And I got home from LA and I just started executing the list of things to do. And so within like 6 weeks, I was in Thailand and I was just fucking YOLOing, just
Doing what you wanted to do, yeah.
I thought wasn't never going to involve music ever again. I was like, maybe I'm going to just be a meditation teacher. Or
yeah.
You know, I tried for 6 months not to make music and then I just ended up getting called back to do it. But this time I came from it from a totally different angle, and it was coming from a place of curiosity and experimentation and creating for the love of creating again.
That's so important.
So which is how I used to be in the beginning.
Yeah.
And then I was making everything. I was like making indie records. I was making techno records. Guitar songs where me singing and guitar, and then eventually I got back to making sort of like housey stuff and, and then I don't know, but I still wasn't ready to dip my toes back in the water. I was just happy making music to make it.
That's so cool. That's such a cool story. Like the evolution of it, and like finding.
But it was like I had to walk away from it totally without any attachments to fall in love with it again. Which
100%.
Now I've never had so much fun making music and just making such a massive variety of music,
Cool.
It's a whole other experience now. And look, I'm not sure what the future's going to hold for if there's going to be big records or not or whatever, but was that it's like I've never had so much fun creating again. And
so cool.
Trying to create and the joy and the reward, learning that the reward is actually in the process now. Not do I get 50,000 streams or 20 million streams or whatever. Like it's actually and that kind of shit's just a bonus. That's not where the reward is, where you get your worth from, or all that.
It's the process. You have to enjoy the process.
you
It's so
know,
important.
but and do that without any attachments,
Yeah.
you know, like, because I think when you're totally detached and you're just doing it without any expectations, or, you know, I think that's where the true magic can happen. And I think, you know, for so many people, it's like the stuff that blows up for them is the stuff that they least expect to blow up, you know. So I don't know, I'm just like sort of just creating to create, you know,
That's
putting
so
some
cool.
records out, trying to have some fun, playing some shows. So it's a lot more simple these days.
Yeah, no, but that's how it should be. Like I feel like for artists, like I mean, it's like your creative work, it's what you're putting out there, and like if you're not enjoying the process, if you're not enjoying a part of it, like, you know, what's the point? Like we only do this one time.
It shouldn't feel, I really think that, and probably a lot of people are going to disagree with me on this, but it shouldn't feel like a job. Making music,
No, it shouldn't. I agree with you on that.
And, you know,
It's creative.
it should give you more energy, not wear you down. You know, like it should energize. You know, like
Yeah.
so. I think, you know, for me now, it's like a very different experience. It's a very different experience to what it was. But I don't know. I think it's still a work in progress too. You know, still there's definitely things that still trigger me.
Yeah.
But then that's what, you know, the meditation's for, and, you know, the self-reflection. And
Do you pray? Like for me, I actually don't really meditate that much. I used to meditate more, but I feel like praying feels more right. I don't know. I feel like you just have to find your own way. But do you ever pray?
totally, I don't pray, but I do Vedic meditation. So I have a mantra, like a Sanskrit mantra that I just say over and over and over, that I don't even know the meaning of. You're not even supposed to know the meaning of it.
So
But
it's almost like an affirmation.
well, yeah, I mean, it means something. I just don't know what it means.
Yeah.
But, you know, my teacher would say, just got to let the mantra do its work. The mantra will do all the work.
Yeah. Is
So
it like, are you making
it's
certain sounds
kind of-
too?
Sorry?
Yeah, like what is the mantra? Like what does it sound like?
You're not allowed to tell anyone your mantra.
Oh,
that's
you
like
can't.
that's like golden. That's a golden rule of Vedic meditation. You're actually not allowed to. You're not allowed to tell anyone your mantra. So, like the Beatles,
Really?
when the Beatles were in India doing their transcendental meditation, they would always like tease each other about, you know, what's your
Like-
mantra? What's your mantra?
Yeah.
Like-
Oh, that's so funny. Oh my
They
God.
did,
Yeah.
So, you know, the rumor is that even the Beatles didn't know what each other's mantras were.
They like didn't even tell each other. Wow. That's so cool. Yeah, I didn't even know that. Isn't that funny? I didn't even know that. And I feel like I know a lot about this kind of stuff.
But look, you know, like there's all sorts of, you know, like with Zen, you know, Zen Buddhism, like I think, like I read this one book on it, and they're saying like you just basically sit down, close your eyes, and you just think in your mind like murr, like that kind of sound. You just
Yeah.
think it in your mind, and like, you know, that's like, you know, that
It brings you,
you know what I mean? Like, or like, you know,
or even
Ram Dass.
weird noises. This sounds so weird,
Yeah.
but like sometimes like well I went to school for spirituality and mental health. But in one of our classes we did it on Zoom, and it was like we all had to make these like really weird sounds, like almost like you're a kid. It was like "Meh." Like but we were all doing it in unison, and like the energy, like you just felt like it was like such a release, and like I don't know, like it was something like the energy with everyone doing it at the same time. It was just like an energy shift.
To like 100%. Like, I mean, that's why, like, you know, all the chanting and stuff is like also amazing. Like,
Yeah.
like just doing your Om chant.
Yes. Yeah.
I've done some Kundalini classes as well, where, you know, they have all the different like the different Kundalini mantras that, you know, they'll say like these Kundalini mantras will, you know, speed up like certain processes in your life, like literally as a technology, you know. So I mean, there's all sorts of different points on it, but I mean, you know, or you could be like say Ram Dass he would say, for his students, just say like, I am loving awareness, and just saying that over and over in your mind while you're sitting down with your eyes shut, and just saying, I am loving awareness. I'm loving just over and over. So there is look, there's just so many ways to skin a cat.
So many things.
So for the praying thing, like there's studies being done on, the brainwave states of, say, Buddhist monks and people of great faith in different religions, and so that there might be these like Catholic nuns and stuff like who, they're experts in prayer, and measuring their brainwave states where they're like, they're all getting into these similar brainwave states, these deep theta, delta brainwave states. And I think, that's sort of where the magic really starts to happen, right? Like, so do you know who Joe Dispenza is?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Yep.
So the Joe Dispenza stuff, he's obviously tracking that pretty closely and doing this spiritual stuff from a way less spiritual point of view and more from like just a science point of view, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's not necessarily talking about God as in this dude in the sky.
No, not at all. It's more, 100%. It's more the science behind it. Yeah.
Yeah. And the stuff that's going on like in his workshops is just fucking.
Have you done any of them yet? I want to go on a retreat so bad for his stuff. I've listened to his meditations. They're amazing.
You know what? When I was in Thailand and I don't know what hour of the day it was, but I was up, and then I got the email saying the Cancun retreat was available for registration. I clicked on it and I fucking got through to the final payment thing, and then I was like, I better text my girlfriend because she's supposed to be coming over from Germany, and then I hope she doesn't listen to this, but she's got better things to do than listen to me.
It's so funny.
And then she was like, well, I'm coming over from Germany, so like, don't you fucking go to this thing? And I'm like, oh man, and like, so I just cancelled it. and I've been trying to get in to his fucking retreat since, and I can't get into any of them.
Yeah, no, they get sold out quick. You can't get no. I know, and, within seconds.
And so like, I was like, oh. Anyway, I'm like, maybe it's not meant to be yet. So
yeah, maybe not yet. Just keep refreshing your email.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
I definitely that's definitely on my to-do list. That's like near the top of my bucket list. And actually like I went a long time without doing his meditations, and in I've literally like probably last 3 weeks I've started doing them again every day. And man, I'm getting phone calls from people that I haven't spoken to in ages. Like weird little opportunities are starting to come in.
Wow.
Like just unexpected. Like he talks about like no one, right? And I'm, man, like maybe this is just crazy talk. Maybe it's coincidence, but I think that these things are going on because I've started the meditations again. Because it would happen to me when I was like doing them religiously in Thailand. I would just be like getting all these like.
Well, you're getting. Yeah. I believe in the law of attraction. So it's like what you put out, like what you're putting out there, your thoughts, like the similar situations are matched and things that happen. And I feel like when you continue to meditate, you become aware of like little synchronicities that go on. And you're just more aware of it.
But it's also like, doing things to raise your vibration, right? Like, I mean, it's one thing. As the theory goes, like for what Joe Dispenza would say, right, is like, I mean, you could think, I'm gonna get a new job, right? Like you want to attract a new job, but if you're feeling like I'm not worth it, or
you're not, no, you're not putting that energy. No,
so you might be like thinking a certain thing, but your vibrational energy is like on a
different wavelength. Yeah.
Wavelength. And that's the thing about prayer or meditation, or like doing stuff like yogic practices. breath work as
Breath work
well,
is so good.
which has been a really big, I've been talked about breath work yet. But doing that stuff, I mean, it's definitely like a magic bullet for raising your vibration, you know?
Yeah.
So
Are you
obviously
vegan?
do it.
Are you vegan? Or have you ever thought
Sorry.
about becoming vegan?
My body didn't react really well to being vegan, man. And I was
Really?
like, I was doing it pretty good for a while, and I just had no energy.
Mm-hmm.
It was didn't with me. Yeah, it's one of those things. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know if humans. I don't know if all humans in the world are meant to be having zero meat.
Yeah.
I'm not convinced about that. I don't think that's how we evolved. But look, whether or not
100%.
like meat pulls your vibration down because you're eating an animal or whatever,
And it's like
I mean, maybe it does.
the spiritual vibration
But
thing.
you
Yeah.
know, so does fucking alcohol. The amount of vegan yoga people I know that drink and do cocaine, and
Yeah, it's
it's
like, what's
just
the
like.
point? It's like there's no like, yeah, totally.
But look, there's the ethical stuff about animals for sure, but I don't know, man. Like, I mean, animals are getting killed in the wild all the time as well, you know? Like, I mean, it's
100%.
I don't know.
100%.
Like, I also just don't think I know enough about that stuff to make a educated.
Yeah, no, listen, I don't know if we're meant to be eating meat or not. I can't answer that question. But I do know that, like, I mean, I was vegan for 6 months and I felt good, but I agree with you. Towards the end of it, I felt really drained, but I also don't know if it was because, like, I don't know, like, you're out in social situations. People are eating wings. Like, you can't eat them. And it's like, that starts to weigh on you over time. Like, just like not, not being able to, like, do the things that you actually want to do. You want to eat that. So, yeah.
Yeah, man. And look, there's studies being done at the moment on long-term veganism, and the results coming back aren't positive.
Yeah, I
like,
can see that.
But veganism, like, say if you're like 200 pounds overweight and you're about to have a quadruple bypass in your heart.
Being vegan's great.
And then go vegan, and then you turn your life around, lose all the weight and you're feeling good. I mean, veganism is obviously a good thing because maybe you're not fucking eating KFC every fucking day.
And you're reversing yeah. Even for cancer.
But look, I don't know. But I also think, like, we're all made differently. Like, different foods respond
to different people's bodies differently.
Some people can't eat. Yeah. Some people can't even eat. Like.
Yeah. No. Literally. I mean, I know for me, like, I can't eat. Like, I mean, I still eat dairy sometimes, but I really, like, should not be eating it. Like, it's, like, not, like, so bad.
When I have dairy, like, I can feel like I have way more, like, phlegm or mucus or whatever, and my throat feels like it's closing.
That's a symptom. That's a symptom. Yeah.
I eat dairy, but like, sort of clean meats, like, grass-fed beef and pasture-raised chickens and wild-caught fish and stuff. But, even with fish, you're like, fuck, like, there's, like, mercury levels. And
you don't know. You know what, though? It's like, and then I think about this, like, think about the air that we breathe. You just don't know. Like, the technology, like, the phones being right next to you when you're sleeping. Like, there's so many things that, like, if you really go down the rabbit hole, it's like.
But, you look at, like, to go back to, like, the Joe Dispenza stuff for a second, you look, there's, like, these people that are going to his workshops, and they're fucked. Like, they are on their last fucking legs, like, health-wise. And then within a week of a workshop,
they're just, like, transformed. Yeah.
People with Parkinson's who can't fucking walk, and then by the end of the workshop, they're walking again and thriving.
Yeah, it's
like
crazy.
People in pain who, like, by the end of the workshop are no longer in pain anymore. So it's like, I think, we might have all of these, like, toxins in our environment, but, like, how much are those toxins really playing a part versus the thoughts that we have?
That goes on right here. Yeah.
I know, like, it sounds crazy, right? But like
It's
these
not.
people are reversing conditions that doctors said are impossible to reverse. So I just think that science, there's still so much that
We
science
don't
has
know.
to sort of figure out, right?
The thing is
Um,
that they don't know enough
and
about
so,
spirituality. They don't know. It's like, and
well,
they're learning more. They're learning more, but it's not at the point where you can definitively tell what's going on. It's just,
yeah,
and even
yeah.
dreams.
And I've been doing this course called Gateway. Have you heard of Gateway by Bob Munro?
No.
So
Gateway. What's that?
he's this guy who basically
Looking it
coined the
up.
term out of body experiences, and the course teaches you how to have out of body experiences. And like, so
Interesting.
you could basically, it's like you get into these deep meditative states, and there's an institute over in Virginia. Like, is that near DC?
Yeah, no, it's not far. Virginia's right
Yeah,
next to
so,
DC.
yeah,
Yeah.
like outside of DC. And it has the institute where basically you go for a week, and in the week they teach you how to have out of body experiences. And it's like, dude, I've
Wait,
had
I would
some.
love to do that.
I'll send you a
Yeah,
link.
yeah, yeah. That
It's
sounds so
it's
cool.
crazy. So I want to. So basically, after tour is up, I want to go to this institute, and because I've been doing the meditations at nighttime,
Yeah.
and like like I get into the deepest states during these meditations, and I've only had once in I've only had this happen once where I felt like it's hard to explain, but the closest thing is to explain that part of me was like moving outside of me,
I know the
and
feeling.
then I was like, holy shit, I'm fucking leaving my body. This is what I was thinking, and
I
I got
felt,
so excited.
yeah, no, no, no. I felt it. I felt it. Yep.
And then I just snapped back
Yeah,
into
you
my body,
snap.
like,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
I just woke up, and I was just like so fucking like I'd just been zapped.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it feels like you're
Um,
being zapped. Yeah.
and then and so I've been looking for that feeling since, and I haven't had it again because I think I'm just like I'm trying too hard to get the feeling.
Yeah, yeah. You know what? You gotta let it flow and feel what feels right in the moment.
Like my friends give me so much shit about all this kind of stuff because they think it's all such woo-woo
Yeah.
stuff, you know?
No, no,
Because
no,
I
it's
know
not.
it's
It's
so
not. It's not. And honestly, this is going to sound crazy, but the reason what got me into spirituality in the beginning is like I feel energy all throughout my body, like all the time. Like it sounds fucking weird, but like literally like behind my head, like all the way down through my arms, the back of my legs, like and it's almost like validation. So like if I'm thinking something or if I'm like it's so weird and like I feel like I'm really connected to my dreams. Like I've like people that I just there's a few people that I know like over the course of my life who have just died and I felt their energy in dreams. Like it's literally like woken me up. And I don't know, this kind of stuff, it's so weird to me. Like I mean it's cool. It's just like there's so much unknown and it kind of can feel like lonely sometimes because like it's hard. Most people when you talk to them about it like they look at you like you have three heads, but unless you've experienced it,
oh, yeah,
right?
yeah. And it's so, the whole dream thing is interesting, right? Because we spend, basically a third of our lives in this state, right? Like, 8 hours a night, 8 hours a night, 7 days a week, we're in this dream state. And it's like,
It's crazy.
it's kind of silly to not try and figure that out. Like,
100%.
especially when you know that people can teach themselves how to lucid dream and control that state. It's like, why would we not want to do that? Like,
Yeah, why would we
especially
not?
when,
It's so weird.
yeah, man. So it's
Do you know
yeah.
what?
So basically, I want
Yeah.
to lucid dream, and
I think you should.
I don't know. It's like,
No, it's just so weird. Like so many people think that like dreams don't matter or like this is something else I'm interested in. Like what happens after you die? Like that for me, like I've thought about that question so many times and like I just feel like I don't know. It's just a lot of people don't think about these things. You know, it's just like, it's like,
Dude,
oh, we're here in this body.
okay, you are gonna love this Bob Monroe stuff, because he talks about his experiences where his out of body experiences where he goes to, you know, places in the ether, whatever you want to call it, and basically meets up with dead people, but he does it in a conscious kind of way.
Oh my
So, and
gosh.
there's
This
just
is
like
so
there's
cool. Yeah.
there's
Sorry.
countless people that have been to his institute that basically are chatting with dead relatives and friends, and basically he's like, it just changes the way you think about life and death, you know, like, because you actually realize that after death
Yeah.
there
You're
is
still
stuff after death, right?
This is this is my theory.
I mean, look, I haven't experienced that, but he's like, so basically everyone that goes there, and like there's like people, like you can go on YouTube and there's people that talk about their experiences at the Monroe Institute. They stop fearing death because they know that
It's just,
you know, when they die, they just sort of, the energy just moves somewhere else, like they're not gone forever, you know, and they can then reconnect with people.
Yeah, I think when you die, it's like you're cut off. This is like what I think. You're cut off, and like basically it's just like you never stop dreaming. And you're still there, but you don't have the same five senses that we do here on Earth.
Well, yeah, I mean, you obviously don't have your physical body, right? So, but he teaches you all about that in these meditation exercises. But they're guided meditations, so
so cool.
It's sort of it's all kind of like self-explanatory when you do them, but he has this mantra that he talks about, like, you know, you're more than your physical body, and you know, talks about the energy systems. And so I don't know, man. It's like, if you're already feeling energy in your body, you're probably more in tune than I am. That's for sure.
Yeah, no.
Maybe you'll pick it up super quick, you know, like but like,
yeah.
One of my friends introduced me to it, and she can astral travel.
So I've done that once.
She's proven to me. So basically, we hadn't chatted in like a couple of years, and then I was doing ayahuasca, and no one really knew that I was going to do ayahuasca. Pretty much no one knew. And then during my ayahuasca session, she texted me and was like, "Are you astral traveling at the moment?" And that was like during one of my first ayahuasca nights.
That's wild.
Yeah. And we met in the ayahuasca trip.
That's crazy.
I know that's gonna make me sound like super fucking crazy.
No. I sound crazy.
It's like, I know what I experienced.
Yeah.
And you know, but it's like, huh?
Did you see her?
Yeah, in the visions.
Yeah, that's so. I mean, it makes sense though. It makes sense. It's like, it's just a different realm. That's all it is. Like, it's almost like a different dimension. And I mean, once you're able to access it, why wouldn't you be able to meet someone? Like, it's the same thing in my dreams. Like, I know for a fact, like, when I felt the energy, like, of someone that I knew when I was younger, he died. I felt his energy. I felt like when he hugged me, he floated over, and I felt like 3 strong, like, energy, like, you know, it's crazy.
Man, I'm not like, I'm just trying to think in my dreams, like, I don't think I've really connected with anyone in dreams.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had some crazy dreams, but not where I've felt like it's, you know, I've connected with my grandma or a dead friend or
someone, yeah.
But I've definitely had dreams where I felt like that was fucking as real life.
Yeah, I've had that too. But I don't know why, you know, I don't know. I don't know. You know, maybe it's just like we just have to become more aware of it. You know, like sometimes I just dream and I wake up and I'm like, oh, it's a dream. But sometimes there's been things that have happened that they'll literally wake me up in the middle of the night. Like, it's like, It's like I know in my dream that it's not my dream anymore. It's like, wait a second, like something's off. Like I can,
Mm,
it's like almost like I guess maybe my soul's aware of it when I'm sleeping, um,
mm,
to some degree, and then I don't know.
man.
It's all the unknown.
I mean, look, I mean, what I know is that there is so much more going on than just our physical
Oh,
reality. Like
100%.
without a doubt, I just want to learn how to actually properly tap into
All of
what
it.
else,
Yeah.
what else is there, and what that would do, like to actually be like, okay, I'm outside of my body and I'm flying around the city or I'm flying around the world,
Insane.
like like what that would just change you. Like that would change. How could you not change, like really change the core of who you are and the way you perceive reality? But
100%.
even the theory of it and seeing other people's sort of testimonials and knowing that it's possible, that changes the way you see things. But I think actually experiencing it and doing it, I mean, that has
It's
to just
totally.
totally fucking flip shit on its head.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. No, I can only imagine. But I think it's
and it's
crazy to
funny,
me.
like I find that stuff I find that stuff way more intriguing than, you know, building or rebuilding a music career. Like, I mean, of course I love music and I'm always going to do it, but it's almost like, is that what my main focus wants to be?
Yeah, or is it like
Like,
exploring this road?
or do I want to
Yeah.
be able to be like, hey, I'm going astral traveling tonight,
It's
and being able to do
cool.
that shit at will? Like, that fucking gets me excited, man.
Going. Yeah.
That
No, no, no,
really,
no,
like,
no. I know. Because it's like, I think that that's also connected. Like, if you could experience that, I think that's also connected to like what happens after you die. And it makes your life have so much more like meaning and just like understanding.
and that's what people are saying, like that's what the testimonials from these people are saying. Like, it's like, it's like we live these, I think a lot of people, we just live such a small
Yeah.
existence
It's
compared
crazy.
to what's available to us.
I know. And
So
it's just like, it's crazy to me. I think we all get so caught up in like materialistic things and like, I mean, I think everyone does to a degree, but it's like when you realize, when you take a step back and you just realize that, like you were saying before, there's so much more going on and like, just like what the actual meaning of life is, like you could be grateful with whatever you have. Um, I just think
I
it's
agree,
fascinating.
man. I agree, man. It's like, I think we all, people want to figure out what the meaning of life is. People want to figure out what their purpose is, what is really fucking going on here, and I think it doesn't get much better than fucking being able to really see the other side, or like do the stuff like leaving your body or getting into these meditative states where you're traveling through the fucking universe. Like,
Crazy. You
it's
can't even like, I
like
know.
it
It's
makes it
crazy.
makes it makes playing like main stage EDC feel like really pathetic when you
Yeah.
can say, I just like astral traveled around the other side of the world. Like,
Like really though, that's so funny.
do you know
That's
what I
so
mean? I know
funny.
it
Yeah.
sounds
No, I do. I do.
it's
Oh my God, that's so cool though. Honestly.
yeah.
Right?
Oh man, people are gonna think I'm crazy after this interview.
Oh my God.
Oh my god.
You know what? People already think I'm crazy when I start talking about this stuff and they're like, "What?" Like, but I think it's one of those things like I don't think that people will find this interesting unless, well, that's not true. But like, I feel like if you've kind of experienced something similar, because like, that's the only way you can relate to someone. If you've had any experience that's been like some sort of like spiritual experience, and then you hear something like this, like it makes you feel like you understand. But if you've never had
Yeah.
any spiritual experience, like how can you relate? It almost sounds like foreign.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think like, and for me too, like, I mean, from all the experiences I've had on ayahuasca and all the crazy trips and stuff, like, it's like, I know that you can get to those states without taking anything.
You don't have to. You could just be through meditation.
You know?
Yeah.
So for me, that's like, you know, that's what I want to do now. And then I think getting to those states without taking anything, then it's got to feel so real. You know, like then you know it's real, not just, well, was I just tripping balls because I was
and I thought I was in another dimension. Yeah.
You know, was I really having dinner with aliens? Were they really aliens, or was I just seeing them? You know, like because that's what happened one night. You know, like I was literally having dinner with aliens. You know, and it's like. It's like
you can't even.
Maybe I was having dinner with them.
Yeah, who's to say? Who's to say? No, I mean, the thing is like, I mean, that technically was your reality at that point.
But if you can be like getting to those states and communicating, you know, with these other dimensions by not taking drugs,
then have you ever been to a medium?
It's got to feel more real, right?
Yeah. Have you ever been to a medium?
Oh, a long time ago.
Really? I have a really good contact. There's a lot of people that are not, you know, a lot of the spirituality stuff can be kind of a gray area because I feel like there are experts, but then there's also a lot of people that I would consider to be like more like
there's a lot of charlatans.
Yeah. Yeah, so
there's a lot of charlatans.
It's kind of, you have to like pick and choose what you think like works well, but there's this one girl I go to, and sometimes I even do sessions with her, just like I'll just do it on Zoom. I see her maybe like once a year, but she's awesome, and she's a medium, so she connects with people who have died, but she just channels things that, you know, people only know but you. It's not like, you know what I mean? You can't, there's just things that she said. I'm like, I don't like there's no one that knows that except for me.
Like, how do you fucking know this?
You can't know that. You know what I mean? It's like, and I've been to other mediums that you're like, okay, this is like so generic, or like, there's just things that she says that you're just like, holy shit.
Oh, man. So I'm kind of scared. To go to one because like
But she's really cool. She's not crazy. Like, she's actually very with it too. Like, super cool personality. Just like, I don't know. Like she's not like one of those people that are like out there or not with it, that you're kind of, I don't know, just like, what's going on? Yeah, she's like actually with it.
All right.
But she told me,
hook me up.
I'll hook you up. I asked her, I was like, how did you get into this? You know, and she was like, well, when I was younger, my mom used to do like the makeup for like basically people in funeral homes, and she used to be able to recite like the stories of people who have died. And she was like, at first my mom just thought I was like, you know, just making stuff up, but they started to like realize that these stories were like in sync. And she said that as she got older, she kind of suppressed it, and then early in her 30s, she found someone who was kind of like her mentor and started like developing her gifts more with her, basically.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Have you seen there's a Netflix series on this spirituality stuff? Basically, there's an episode on these kids that can remember their life before their previous lifetimes.
Ooh, it's like past life regression. Interesting.
Sorry?
It's like past life regression.
Yeah, but they can remember, so they'll be like, oh yeah, so this one kid, he's into planes and he just loves it. And he's like, yeah, I used to be a pilot. And the mum was like, oh, that's cute. He's like, no, I used to fly in like overseas or something. And then she was like, oh, show us where. And then get on a map and he'd be like, oh, I used to fly there. Turns out like and then he's like, yeah, I got shot down in World War II. I was like, literally they would quiz and the kid got 100% of the questions right about the person's life. He said and there's all the kids that were getting tested were all getting and not just like, they'd be like, what did your wife look like? He's like, that one, that's my wife. Which one was did you have any kids? Yeah, that was my daughter. But then what they say is like the kids, like over time, the kids' memories fade of the previous life. So it's like a phenomenon with younger kids, like pre 10.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that so crazy?
It's fascinating.
It's like, like that has to be like, that alone has to be some kind of proof that in reincarnation or like, you know, past lives or
100%.
Oh man,
100%. And
God, that shit blows my mind.
it's crazy. Yeah, we talked about it in my class. Like we just talk about like past life regression and like just like the journey of your soul and how like you know, basically like you live a life and then you know you die and it's like rebirth. And my professor, like he was saying how he believes that we get to choose the situation that we're in. Like so you literally like you chose your parents and like your soul chose like the hardships that you have to go through in your life until like you die and then you go through it again. But it's
imagine, okay, so
fascinating.
imagine this, right? Imagine that you know that in theory, right? But then imagine being able to astral travel and meet with, you know, people in these other dimensions or whatever it's called, where it's like, and then you could actually know this.
Yeah.
Like you can actually know, like not just be theoretical, but actually you fucking know because you've gone into the spirit world or whatever it's called. And you know, like that's the thing, man. It's like, I think it's like the difference between having the knowledge but actually like living it. Well, people like are using the piano analogy because I'm a piano player. And it's like, you know, it takes years and years and years. It takes like over a decade to become an amazing piano player, right?
Mm-hmm.
So why would developing spiritual gifts, why would that be any different? Like, why? I mean, maybe it won't take 10 years.
But like, you know, over time you develop them more. Yeah.
Like if it doesn't, like people might expect it to happen in like a month or even becoming a really good meditator. Like, I mean, I say that in inverted commas, a good meditator, because, you know, maybe there's no such thing. But, you know, obviously the more you meditate, you know, the deeper you can go. It's like, you can't just expect that from one meditation or from a week of meditations or doing one meditation every couple of months. It's like,
you have to
fucking practice every day.
100%. You have to put in the work. Yeah.
Any skills need the work, need the time. Yeah, man.
Wow.
This is getting me excited.
I know. I'm like now I have to start looking up like books on like how to astral project. Like I feel like I'm like, oh my God.
We don't need drugs or substances to like get us to have these experiences. We can do it sober.
Yeah,
we
it's
can
crazy.
do it.
You really
like
can.
We have that technology in our body. We just haven't learned how to use it.
We haven't.
That's
and,
it.
Know, years ago, they used to use it a lot. But then I think, you know, as we just like evolved and we kind of forgotten about it. And I think it's so interesting how our culture specifically, like in America, I feel like, I mean, now it's getting brought to the surface more, but there's no spirituality. Like I found that like, I mean, obviously people are getting into it more and it's becoming like more like, I guess like mainstream to some degree, but like I just feel how it's so interesting. I'm like, I feel like it just feels like so surface level versus like there's a lot of other like different cultures that I feel like for years, you know, if you look back, like they have so many different spiritual practices and it's just interesting.
I mean, well, look, I mean, the Native Americans had that.
They did.
The Native Americans, and they just got fucking demolished
by our society,
by the whites.
It's horrible.
That's the original spiritualism of this country, but I mean, it's obviously got overtaken by white Christianity.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and just like,
which I think was all about control, not really having a spiritual connection with God at all. I think it was about control and manipulation, right? Like of the masses.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm probably going to get roasted over saying that.
We can cut it out. We can cut it out. We can cut it out.
I'm a good Catholic boy.
Yeah, no, I was raised Catholic, but yeah, I you know, I have more of like I believe that there's a higher power. I feel like there's truth to all different religions, and I feel like I don't know. I just think that like it's all perspective. Like I don't necessarily think that like there's religions that are wrong or right. Like it's almost like a ritual and community.
Yeah, totally. And it's like, you know, just because someone's Christian doesn't mean that they can't be spiritual. Like, I'll use my mum as an example. Like, I think like I used to give my mum a hard time about being Catholic, probably for at least a decade, maybe 15 years, maybe longer. And it's only been in the last few years that I've just understood that, you know, she loves to pray. And when she prays, she gets into this state where she feels connected. And Mum used to say, oh, I've got a personal relationship with Jesus. And I used to give her so much shit about that.
Yeah.
And I actually understand it now. Like, she's connecting to something. She calls it Jesus and God.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter what she calls it.
It doesn't.
It doesn't matter what I call it.
It's the same thing. It's the exact same thing. Yeah.
Making the connection.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
And whatever it takes for you to feel that connection, and everyone's different, whether it's praying, you could, I mean, for me, I don't sit there with my hands together. I just literally will just think, you know, even if it's a couple times a day, like, you know, I'm grateful for something, or like, actually, sometimes I'll like write, like I've like written a letter before to God, like, just like, it's almost like therapy. Like, it's like journaling, but like, just also just like talking. And I feel really connected when I do that. I don't know.
Is it like your, what's this technique called where you're just writing, like that automatic writing?
It's like a download? Like, do you mean a download?
Yeah, but there's a specific name for it. Fuck. Where it's like,
I just know
you're just writing whatever, like, is like, you're not thinking about what you're writing. Just
I think it's automatic writing. I think that's what the word is. Or the term.
Right.
Automatic writing, yeah. Yeah, you know, it's just, it feels very, I don't know, I feel like it feels like you have a personal like relationship, you know what I mean? It's really cool, especially when you do it every day and you either like write, or you just like, you know, you connect and like you think, like, it's over time you build it. And you know, it's crazy with this podcast, and I haven't released any episodes yet. I'm releasing starting this week, but basically, this is what's crazy. So the medium that I went to like 2 years ago, she was telling me how I was going to start up a podcast. And I was like, like whatever. Like she's like, it's something about like body, mind, and soul. Like, I don't know, like, duh. And I was like, in my head, I'm like, I could never picture myself doing that. Like, I don't know what she's talking about. So this past year, I was like, I don't know. I was like, I felt really lost one night. And I just was like, I remember I was like praying to God, and I was like, I don't know why. Like, I just feel so lost. Like, please, like, lead me in the right direction. And before this, I work at a technology company right now, but before this, I was like doing a lot of stuff with like health and fitness. So like I was like a personal trainer and an online coach, but like it just didn't feel right. And the day after I prayed, I just knew. I woke up and I was like, I have to do a podcast. I was like, I don't know what like this is going to be about, but I like had this like epiphany. I was like, and then it just went back full circle. I was like, oh my God, she told me that like 2 years ago. But I didn't even like associate it when it happened. I just felt like I was like, it feels so right. Like, I feel like it feels aligned.
I think it's so important for us to follow our hunches, man. Like we just like have these things that it's like, I need to do that. And we don't do it. Like, not necessarily you or me, but like, you know, I mean, well, definitely me. There's stuff that in the past I've like felt like I should do it and I haven't done it, and then it's like blown up in my face later. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, I was like, I should have followed my gut feeling or that hunch that I had.
And you ignored it in the time. Yeah, we've all done it.
Or when you ignore it, and it, you know, it's like that. This energy builds up and the frustration builds or whatever, and then once you sort of do what it is, then it's like there's a release. You know, it's like, oh fuck, I should have done that a year ago.
Yeah, 100%. I know.
But we're not taught to act like that. You know, we're taught to be logical about things. We're taught to use our head. You know, which is
I think
probably valuable sometimes.
It has a time and a place. Sometimes you just know, and it's like it's so hard to pinpoint like intuition and like to say like intuition's actually real, but I mean, most of the time it's like your internal compass, and most of the time it is right for what you need to do. Like, that's exactly right. It's your internal compass, right? I think you just summed it up perfectly. It is. It's really cool.
You're like, I did sum it up
perfectly. I did. It's so funny.
I'm amazing.
I am. Welcome to the Ash X podcast.